Alright, you guys, I am back for my review for Hollywood Exes, Season 3, Episode 3. Alright, so we started out with Drea is going to the studio to see her new boo. He is doing a song. He's also a singer. She did say that, it's he's the he's gonna be the R&B prince because R. Kelly is the R&B king, boo. Period. Point blank. So yeah, she got another single on her hands. She was like, after he got through singing, she kind of got emotional and tearful and stuff like that. She went on to say, she made a joke. You know how Andrea is. She made a joke, said, "I'm pregnant in my ear," about the music that he was singing, and he was like, "Filter," something like that. So she was just like, "Well, excuse me." So clearly, he's not even liking who she is as a person, like, cause that was her. That's who she is. Like, and shit was a joke. So he was kind of, like put off by that. We got I forgot her name, Jessica and okay, Jessica and Shayna. Shayna shows up to Jessica's job. Jessica's like an esthetician or something like that. She does eyebrows and faces and stuff like that. I don't know exactly what she does, but they show up to her job. She's got her Miss Nevada with her, and she's getting her eyebrows done, and so is Miss Nevada. So they just talking about that and whatnot, and she talked about how the pageant went with Nicole judging, and she said it was a lot of drama in the pageant, but everything went well. Nicole was a treat, and she was a delight to work with. Then they start talking about Miss Nevada being the winner and what happens, after they win and what's the next step and all that stuff. Shayna thinks that Jessica's a pretty cool chick, she's a fun-loving wild child, and that's kind of like her. So she's thinking that, getting to know her is going to be a lot of fun. It looks like Jessica's going to be a good friend. We go on to Nicole is in the car driving to meet Maite. She got a call from Maite to meet her to have a conversation. Nicole is basically just going to want an apology for the most part. She tells Jessica that she's going headed to Maite. They were on the phone in the car, and then she tells her that basically she just wants an apology. Jessica tells her that Maite is not going to apologize, but let's just see how it goes. So that is what they're going to do. And hopefully, Jessica's hoping that she gets an apology from Maite. So she gets to the restaurant with Maite, and basically they start talking about the whole sugar thing and the incident that happened. And Maite was just like, Nicole was just like, "I want an apology." And she was just like, it was an accident. And this is where I draw the line with Maite. Maite admitted in the first show that this was a purposeful accident. So why are you trying to call it now a beautiful accident? That's not what you said. I have it on record. Do you need me to show you what you said? Y'all definitely need to have a reunion. Anyway, but yeah, she said a purposeful accident at first, and now it's a beautiful accident. She didn't try to do it, so she's not going to apologize. Nicole pointed out to her, if there was a situation where I did something on accident, I will apologize for it, and apologize for the accident. You can apologize for an accident. Why are you so adamant on not apologizing? And Nicole just kind of let it go, just like whatever. Obviously she's not going to get this apology, but she is watching her. Like she can't really trust her. Like it's something that happened to the friendship, because Maite don't even see her error in her ways at all. She feel like Nicole set her up with the fur. Nicole told her that she had no idea about the fur, and she cannot control what people wear. And Maite is just really being stubborn about this situation. And she's not going to apologize. So at the end of the day, like I said, Nicole is just going to basically yeah, Maite was like, when your daughter wears fur, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to get mad. Well, get mad at the person that's wearing the fur. Don't turn off my shit. And had you said something to my daughter, then I probably would have escorted your motherfucking ass out. But don't you get mad at me because I didn't have on the fur. And don't tear up my shit in my house because that's disrespectful. You're no longer welcome. And if you say anything to my daughter, she lives here. So what you could do is just excuse yourself. You don't have to tear anything up. What the hell is wrong with you? Really? So anyway, like I said, Nicole kind of just tells us that she kind of gave her the side eye with that whole situation, and she just gonna have to watch her. They're gonna try to move past the whole thing, but she said something like we can go buy another sugar thing or whatever or something like that. Whatever. If you want to go buy another one, you could have just apologized. She don't even want you to purchase another one. She wanted an apology. Just saw her daughter on the beach. Her daughter's having a photo shoot. She's 4 models, really pretty. Justice just, there to support her daughter for her photo shoot. Blah blah blah. Um, Drea's going, shopping, doing stuff for her wedding and everything. And well, first we go to Maite and her boyfriend, Humberto, new guy, at the house with the baby. Baby's growing up, really cute little girl. And they're just trying to make a family. Monte's just telling him that, he can be a dad if he wants to be a dad, and he seems to be, he also wants children. So they're just talking about this great relationship that they have. So bam. Alright, so then we got Drea and I think his name was Tony. Drea and Tony, which is his friend, her friend. I don't know if he gay or not, really. But Drea and Tony, which is her really good friend, they going out wedding shopping for the dress, and they get to the place and he start feeling anxious and anxiety, and he just started talking about like why so fast, why y'all moving so fast, what's his motive? Do you mind if I talk to him? And Drea is just kind of like, don't do it. It's not gonna break up the friendship. It's still gonna be Drea and Tony. You're not losing a sister. You're adding a brother. And he's just concerned, because this guy just came out of nowhere. She said they only been dating a couple of months. Came out of nowhere and just all ready to get married. I personally don't even think he's into Drea like that, just by the way he acts. But that's just what I'm picking up. Anyway, so then we got this Sheree having a dinner, and everybody's invited. No, it's not a poker. It's a casino night or something. So everybody come in. Just who's having a damn poker night? Hold up, y'all. Let me see who it is. Shayna having a poker night at her house, and she's just concerned. She want to make sure nobody gets crazy at her house, so she's not going to tolerate that. And she just wants everybody to have a good time, so everybody comes. Sheree and her husband bring a tall, black, bald-head guy that she is bringing for Jessica. Jessica sees him, Jessica likes him, and so they start flirting and whatnot at the party. Party seems to kind of go off without a hitch. Sheree did mention to Maite and Humberto about the whole her party situation, the issue that she had with Maite. And, he was just like, it was one of those things that he didn't think was going to go as far as it did go. So, he kind of just, Sheree was just like, she let it go at that time because she said, this is not the time or place. Damn. So, poker night was success. Everybody had a good time. Tony and Drea's fiance have their one-on-one talk, and Tony is still kind of skeptical of him. Sheree thinks he's a little jealous because he might lose his place, but because they're longtime friends, I think he might be gay. But in any case, Drea did tell him that it's not going to get rid of their friendship. So he decides to have this one-on-one conversation at the casino night, where Drea said that she had already voiced to him, they would already talked about it, that this might not, that might not be a good idea. So she's not sure if this conversation at this party is going to end well. He asked him about his motive with Drea. He was like, motive sounds like I have an agenda, and I don't. I just want to love her. I just want to be happy. I just want to love the kids, and that's that. He was like, so you want to have other kids? He was like, no. She was like, well, you already, you're already denying her something because she wants another baby. He was like, yeah. He was like, he made this decision when he was single. He got a vasectomy, so he's not reversing it. And he wants to have another baby. Him and Drea did talk about reversal of the vasectomy, but again, he told Drea he's not interested in doing that. Drea kind of got a little attitude about it, but He did it when he was single. So, you know, get ready to marry somebody. This is where the conversation comes in. Well, do you want to have kids? Do you want to have any more kids? I had a vasectomy. Okay, I want to have some more kids. We ain't gonna work out. That's what that's supposed to come in at. But Jessica and this new black guy, I forgot his name, they go to this, he's supposed to be a trainer for Drake. That's what they said. They go to the gym for the first date. She don't think it's weird because that's what they do. So they go to the gym and work out for the first day. Cute little date. And she's stretching him and all that. He's stretching her and all that stuff. So it was cute. Then we got Maite and Sheree and Drea. They go to dinner. Drea's there, you know, just to kind of meet support because she didn't want her and Maite to kind of, Sheree and Maite to get into it. So they talk about this whole issue with the night of the party that Maite did not show up. And so Maite, you know, kept on making excuses that, you know, I didn't have a babysitter. And no, she explained the whole Will Smith money coming. So she was just like, you know, you was a single mom. During that time, you was getting child support. I'm not getting child support to afford a nanny to be able to babysit or just leave when I want to leave and come to your party. So first her excuse was she didn't have a babysitter. Then she said Umberto didn't really want to come out. Then she said that she didn't have a nanny. I mean, she didn't have money to get a nanny or pay for a babysitter. So Drea intervenes and just like what I hear is fear. A fear of a new mom, fear of being able to leave her somewhere. Because she was like, you know, I told you to bring the baby. She was like, I'm not going to wake her up. She go to bed at 6 to 7:30. I'm not going to wake her up and bring her to the party. She was like, well, you know, she could and sleep. Where was she going to be? She's like, I got 3 guest bedrooms. She was like, and just have her somewhere, anywhere. Like, she was just making up excuses. When Drea intervened and said fear, I feel like Maite was just like, a relief, because that's not really what she was getting at. That she was, to me, not that she was fear or scared or doing something. Her mama is available, and if she trusts this man and he didn't want to go, then she could have left the baby with him. Period. He didn't have to go. And she was just like, you know, Sheree was just like, you know, I didn't get it, and I'm sorry that I didn't get where you was coming from, and this and that. But that's not where she was coming from. Drea put that out there. That's what she heard. But I don't think that's what Maite was trying to say, honestly. I think she was just really making excuses. It's not about her being fearful of leaving her baby with somebody or not having a babysitter or bringing her out at night. It ain't none of that. She just didn't want to come because that dude did not want to go and she didn't want to leave her man behind. Bam. So, last but not least, Andrea, I think I talked about this already, but Andrea and the dude talking about the whole baby situation. He not reversing his vasectomy. And she's just like, you know, she just kind of upset about it. You know, why would she even want him to do that? I'm not sure. He was just like, you know, why are you thinking about this? Like, you already got kids, you at this age. Like, why are you even thinking about wanting me to do this? You know, but he was just very adamant on not doing it. She thought he was going to be like, maybe, no, yes, but he was just like, no. And so she got attitude because she didn't give it any compromise. Alright, you guys, that was the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a good day.